say the reactive mind is a collection of these recordings, mental recordings of any moments of pain and unconsciousness you've ever had in your life. It's like the subconscious mind. That the reactive mind is essentially a stimulus response mechanism created through evolution millions of years ago to protect the individual from things that would harm them. In other words, things that would bring about pain and unconsciousness. So you have these recordings of things that hurt you, created pain and unconsciousness, and in present time, these things will react upon you in a way to cause you to avoid similar things, reacting upon you in a subconscious, unconscious way.
So the reactive mind protects you from the trauma that is inside your subconscious mind.
Yes.
Don't forget, they tell us to follow the science. We're brainwashed into following the science. And that's what you've got to do if you want to become a good dog trainer. Follow the science. There's a real problem, though. What science do you follow? Because that really matters, doesn't it? Some of the science could be theory, unproven. Some of the science could be proven. How do you define the difference?
It's always recording in moments of pain and unconsciousness. And that these are called, these recordings are called, L. Ron Hubbard called them engrams. Now, when L. Ron Hubbard first wrote Dianetics in 1950, this was before Scientology came along a couple years later, right? So in 1950, when he wrote Dianetics, it wasn't a spiritual endeavor. It was supposed to be a mental
So
health,
that
a
should
science of
really
mental health.
send shivers up your spine. Now you've actually heard who they're talking about.
And that's hell of a difference. That's like me picking him up like that and putting him under my arms. So there you go, Doctor. You think that we don't know how to train dogs? We've been doing it too long, mate. Haven't we? We've been doing it too long, haven't we? You can switch off as well, can't you? You can switch off when told to it, can't you? Learning to switch off as well, not be manic for food. We don't need food at this stage. We didn't say that food works or didn't work. What I'm saying is you do not need to use food all the time. We didn't say the e-collar didn't work or did work. What we're saying is you don't need to use an e-collar for every element of the training or every dog.
It's absolutely amazing how many people become brainwashed by Scientology. And yet, when you look at some of it makes sense. But lots of it is over-the-top rubbish.
It's so important to pick this little chap up and stroke him and get him used to it.
In this video, I'm actually imprinting onto the puppy's mind that being with me is fun. Chasing the ball is fun. I'm setting the foundation. I'm stroking the dog. I'm picking the dog up. I'm making the dog realize that being with me, even if it's only for 5 minutes a day, it's real good fun. It's higher value than being in that kennel by far. The problem that a lot of people have is they overstimulate the mind, and the mind then wants more. It's knowing how much to give. Can you overlove a dog? Of course you can overlove a dog. But at this point in the training, and I am training, there's nothing negative about it at this point. I want this to be a positive experience for the young pup.
Get him used to wanting to be in your arms and trust. And then putting him down on the floor and letting him have a run around. Letting him realise he's not being restricted in a cage like you see these animal behaviourists. If a dog is in a cage, it can't go wrong. If a dog is in a house with everything scattered around the floor like this, it's going to do things wrong. It's got to learn there's going to be negatives if you do something wrong. You can't give it positives all the time unless you control it in an environment. And that is what these trainers are doing, these animal behaviourists. They're saying that they can train dogs with love and affection, positive and positive only. Well, I'm sorry. In reality, that's untrue. They're selling you a system that doesn't work. I'm not saying the system has not got its place, but in certain aspects of training, what I am saying to you is when I was investigated for the lies that people said about me, because they were positive trainers, and these positive trainers didn't like the fact that I was having a large following on my Facebook site, and a lot of people agreeing with my methods of training and understanding my methods of training by education, by showing education. What they did, they reported me to the RSPCA and screenshotted a video of me picking a dog up by the scruff and said I swung it around by the ears. And I didn't swing it around by the ears, and it would bother me if I got prosecuted for swinging a dog round by the ears. But did I grab it by the scruff? Yes, I did. Did I correct it? Yes, I did. It's my job. I have to be honest about it. So what the RSPCA do, they go and find an animal behaviourist, a vet who is an animal behaviourist, right? So that they've studied animal behaviour. And what they do, that's like bringing out a vegan to testify that eating meat is bad for you.
So here at Corleone Gundogs, we don't just talk about dog training, we show you how to get a dog to a good standard. We take your videos and we analyse and give you feedback on what you're doing wrong. There are so many people out there now getting on the bandwagon on the internet and becoming internet trainers, whether they're dog trainers or gun dog trainers. There's thousands of them out there. If you want to stay one step ahead of them, you have to give the people what they want. You have to give the people what they need. There isn't anybody out there analysing the videos and dissecting conversations, talking about the subject of how the dog's memory works, how the dog's mind develops from an early learning stage. There's plenty of science out there. We call it psychobabble. I still listen to the science, but you could get bogged down with the science. Keep it simple, stupid, is the motto. And that's what we try to do. We try to break it down, but we still try to educate and say that certain science is fantastic. I don't dismiss science as a negative for all science. What I'm actually saying is it's breaking it down, throwing out the trash and keeping the good bits. There's nothing better than hands-on working with dogs from puppies, from being born, right through to them dying, and understanding how different they are and how different they think. Not one dog is the same, but it gives us a platform to have a better understanding of how they develop and gain that knowledge and understanding. That early training is important, but you can overdo anything in training, and so many dogs these days can't cope with pressure because they've not been put under pressure. They can't cope with new things around them because they've been bombarded with everything. If you shut a dog in a kennel and don't give the dog any life, you're not going to have a confident dog. You need to humanize that puppy. You need to develop that relationship, but not overstimulate it at a young age. Else you're going to find that you've got problems and you'll have to go backwards to go forwards. That's what we do at Corleone Gundogs. We talk about the real subject of dog training, breaking it down from puppy to fully trained dog that other people would be jealous about owning out in the field. Over on Patreon, we have like-minded people who understand the basics and want to move forward and don't hold baggage about giving discipline and correction at the right time. What the haters don't want to do is talk about the gameplay and the humanizing of that relationship between you and that dog and getting that bond and developing a strong bond for the future. Ron Hubbard brainwashed people. Hey, but I might be wrong. John Travolta, Tom Cruise, they fell for it. They fell for it big time.